In the cornfields of a small, secluded Midwestern town, a mysterious figure known as Sawtooth Jack rises every Halloween. Drawn to the local church, his journey brings fear and dread, for the townspeople know calamity awaits if they fail to stop him. To prevent disaster, they uphold an age-old tradition called the Run. Each year, teenage boys from every family are sent out to intercept and eliminate Sawtooth Jack by midnight. Whoever accomplishes the task is celebrated as a hero, rewarded with a house, $25,000, a car, and the rare privilege to leave town, something ordinarily forbidden. It's also believed that vanquishing the creature blesses the annual harvest. Participation is restricted to boys, and only one son per family may join the chase. In 1962, a group of masked teens embarks on the hunt. As one boy stands alone, paralyzed by fear, Sawtooth Jack emerges silently behind him, and the boy's scream pierces the night as he is overtaken. When the other boys find their friend's charred remains, they spot Sawtooth Jack looming in the cornfield, and Jim, filled with rage, charges after him. Just as the creature nears the church, Jim catches up, delivering a brutal end to the monster. The boys tear into Sawtooth Jack's candy-filled body, celebrating Jim as the hero. The town honors him at the Harvesters Guild Halloween party, awarding him his prizes. Before leaving town, Jim embraces his younger brother Richie, offering a heartfelt goodbye. The following Halloween, Sheriff Jerry visits the school, reminding the teens of the crucial role of the Run, and showing photos of a year when Sawtooth Jack escaped, resulting in ruined crops. Jim's heroic story is recounted, much to Richie's annoyance. Richie, barred from participating due to the rules, dreams of breaking free from his town's restraints. His friend Riley mocks him for desiring to volunteer, while others are forced to participate. Some boys doubt Sawtooth Jack's existence, thinking he might be an adult in disguise, but Bud insists he saw the monster as a child. The argument sparks a scuffle, which teachers quickly interrupt. After class, Riley trails Richie, prompting Richie to duck into a movie theater, where he meets Kelly, a new girl in town. They connect, but Kelly, being black, explains she can't attend the Halloween dance. Richie promises to change that when he wins the Run. Determined, Richie informs his family he'll join the hunt, sparking a fierce argument with his father, Dan, who even slaps him in frustration. Despite his family's pleas, Richie sneaks out that night. Meanwhile, the town farmer places a freshly carved pumpkin atop an empty scarecrow stand, transforming it into Sawtooth Jack once more. In the days leading to Halloween, each family locks their sons in isolation to drive them toward the hunt. By Halloween night, the boys, restless and starved, are released. Richie evades his family's efforts to keep him inside and teams up with Bud, Mitch, and Charlie. They pile into a truck, aiming to gain an advantage. Rival teens accuse them of cheating, leading to a confrontation before they speed off toward the cornfields. Upon reaching the cornfield, Bud, haunted by memories of Sawtooth Jack, hesitates. Suddenly, their truck jolts to a stop. The boys exit to investigate, discovering candy scattered on the road. Believing they've hit Sawtooth Jack, they begin to celebrate, until the real monster appears. In a frenzy, Sawtooth Jack claims Charlie, Bud, and Mitch in swift, brutal succession. As Richie watches in horror, he flees into the cornfield, only to encounter Kelly. They agree to join forces and arm themselves by sneaking into Sheriff Jerry's house to steal a weapon. Meanwhile, the teens, frenzied and desperate, ransack the town, breaking into stores for supplies. The butcher, in a desperate attempt to save his shop, ends up defending it with force, even causing harm to a few attackers. However, the group overpowers him, ultimately unaliving the butcher and seizing his stock. Richie and Kelly witness the horrific scene, shaken by the brutality. Just as they try to leave, Riley spots them, mocking Kelly for her presence and making an offensive remark about her appearance. Riley's friend seizes Kelly, sparking Richie's resolve to protect her. Overcoming his fears, Richie retaliates, taking down both men and confronting them with a weapon. Kelly quickly joins in, using her club to fend them off, and Richie takes back his belt before they leave. Meanwhile, The atmosphere grows tense among the boys as they spiral into chaos, turning on each other. Sawtooth Jack, drawn to their vulnerability, attacks a nearby trio. Shortly after, Richie reveals to Kelly that he's heard unsettling stories about her. Kelly confirms one particular rumor, admitting she burned down an old man's barn due to his prejudiced actions. Richie, in turn, opens up about missing his brother, who occasionally sends postcards, and Kelly confesses her parents are no longer alive. Their conversation is interrupted by a radio announcement claiming Sawtooth Jack was sighted on Oak Street. They decide to investigate, unaware the broadcast is a setup by Jerry. Upon arrival, they come across a statue smeared with blood before Sawtooth Jack emerges. Richie is frozen, noticing Jack is wearing his brother's belt. Kelly intervenes, striking the creature, but is hit in return, and Sawtooth Jack vanishes as Richie checks on her. A nearby resident shouted at them, forcing them to leave. Returning to their car, they encounter Jerry, who points his weapon at Richie through the window. He insults Kelly's family, admitting he ended their lives when they attempted to leave the town. Enraged, Kelly fights back, causing him to fire, with the shot grazing her head. Richie pushes Jerry away, and they escape. Meanwhile, Sawtooth Jack visits Jim's old home, discovering cryptic messages Jim left while confined before his final run, and, filled with fury, burns the house down. Dan confronts Jerry, expressing regret, but Jerry insists that the town must continue its traditions to avoid misfortune, recalling a personal loss when they once abstained from the ritual. Moments later, they arrive at Richie's home, where his mother, Donna, is deeply affected by medication. Richie probes her about past winners, discovering they either vanish or meet tragic ends. Suspicious, Richie realizes Donna may have faked the postcards and letter from Jim. Desperate for answers, he pleads with her, but Donna, overcome by despair, unalived herself. Her words confirm Richie's fears. Winners don't lead glamorous lives but are sacrificed, allowing Sawtooth Jack to return each year. Kelly urges Richie to leave, but he is determined to end the cycle. In the heart of town, a fire at Jim's house ignites panic. Jerry, informed of Sawtooth Jack's presence nearby by Riley, drags him into his car, arming him in hopes he'll become this year's winner. Richie and Kelly go to the church, where they find Dan, and a tense confrontation ensues. Richie accuses his father of complicity, but Dan insists he knew nothing until Richie won. He explains that Jerry and the guild enforce secrecy, silencing any family that tries to escape or speak out. Dan urges Richie to flee, only to break down when he learns of his wife's passing away. The church bell suddenly tolls, signaling Sawtooth Jack's arrival. Richie approaches, recognizing Jack as Jim, and tries to show he means no harm. Unfortunately, Riley intervenes and fires at the creature. Kelly retaliates, while Richie cradles Jack. Jerry then orders Riley to fire his weapon again, but Richie holds him off with his own weapon. In a tragic moment, Jack grasps Richie's hand, pleading for release. Richie, realizing his brother's suffering, tearfully ends it. As Richie's victory is celebrated, he feels hollow. During the ensuing party, he broods, indifferent to the revelry. Spotting Kelly, he shares a dance, unfazed by the judgmental stares. She discreetly hands him a weapon, and they agree to escape together. Richie departs in a new car, ignoring a request from Jim's former partner for a ride. As he drives, Dan confronts Jerry, attempting to exact revenge, but Jerry overpowers him. Later, Richie collects Kelly, and they set out, but soon Jerry appears in pursuit. Forced to stop to avoid a collision, Richie tells Kelly to hide and exits the car. Jerry coerces him into a field at gunpoint, leading him to a pre-dug grave. Richie tries to reason, but the farmer injures him severely and buries him alive. The farmer, revealed as part of the ambush, leaves. Eventually, Kelly emerges from hiding, meeting Dan, who urges her to escape. Heartbroken, she flees. A year later, the farmer exhumes Richie's remains, transforming him into the new Sawtooth Jack. On Halloween, Dan releases the monster, still addressing him as Richie. The farmer appears, but Dan avenges Richie by unaliving the farmer, then instructs his transformed son to destroy the town. And that's the chilling story of Richie, who braved the horrifying traditions of his town, only to find himself ensnared in a curse that refused to let go. In a place where secrets are buried and fears are passed down through generations, the true horror lies not just in the creature that haunts the night, but in the twisted traditions that keep it alive. If you enjoyed this haunting tale, don't forget to like, subscribe for more eerie recaps, and tell us in the comments, would you risk everything to break such a terrifying cycle? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next spooky adventure.